uniting citizens of all backgrounds around a common core of common sense. You know, we're the party of common sense. We want to have borders. We want to have security. We want to have things be good, safe. We want great education. We want a strong and powerful military, and ideally we don't have to use it. You know, we had no wars. 4 years we had no wars, except we defeated ISIS. We defeated ISIS in record time, but we had no wars. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. 7 wars. We're close to settling an 8th. And I think we'll end up settling the Russia situation. I don't think anybody in history has settled that many, but perhaps they'll find a reason not to give it to me.
If you stop Russia and Ukraine, sure, you should be able to get the Nobel. I said I stopped 7 wars.
So what they're trying to do with the Epstein hoax is get people to talk about that instead of speaking about the tremendous success like ending 7 wars. You know, but I stopped 7 wars. And 3 of those wars were going on for more than 30 years.
Mr. President, you managed to get this deal done. A lot of people say that the men who managed to do that should get a Nobel Peace Prize.
I deserve it, but they will never give it to me. My rhetoric kept you out of wars. I stopped wars from happening. If it were somebody else, they would have gotten 5 Nobel Prizes. I never even got a mention. And you know, it's an amazing thing. I don't say this out of ego, but I was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Well, they gave one to Obama immediately upon his ascent to the presidency, and he had no idea why he got it. And you know what? That was the only thing I agreed with him on. We settled 7 wars.
First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahashim, Makah HaKadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who I learned from. Shalom to the hopeful elect, preaching his word in truth, sincerity, to you ribs, to you sisters out there learning silence, staying in order. I say to you all, Shalom. Right, you saw that buffoon. You know, he's all about gimmicks. You know, and being flashy, and you know, talk about he wanted a Nobel Peace Prize, like, as if it's like a trophy. And he was basically crying over it, like a spoiled kid. And this man did nothing that he said he did. He didn't stop any wars. As a matter of fact, as you all know now, we are in war. Right? And a lot of people are dubbing him the worst president ever. I mean, not to mention, like, George Bush was one of the dumbest, lowest IQ, next to Biden. Biden just lost his marbles. I don't even know. Well, allegedly he was unalived, and the replacement was a dummy. But anyways, it's about Trump. You know, scriptures talk about, you know, when they shall say peace, right? Matter of fact, I got this 1 Thessalonians 5:3. It says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with a child. Right? And when a woman is about to have a child, and the birth pains come out, there is no returning. There's no going back. That baby shall be born. Right, and we seen a lot of signs that's happening, you know, right now. Right, it says as a travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. You know, the small hats are not allowing cameras to videotape the destruction that has happened over there. They want to make it seem like they're winning, right? Like they're agents of peace, but they're really agents of chaos. Trump, aka Nero, has changed the name of their military, what is it? I don't know if it's a cabinet or what it was called. You know, the collision of war or something like that. I butchered that, but you know what I mean. Like he's not set out for peace. On top of that, you know, with the e-files out and about to come out, he's trying to lock in that that presidential seat, because you can't have presidency or an election if there's an active war going on. So maybe this is a way where the small hats and Nero devised the plan, because we all know that Trump is a puppet to Netanyahu. And he's the one really pulling the strings. Right when he was being asked about war in Iran, he said, "Hey, maybe Netanyahu could answer this question," as if he's not the sitting president. You know, he says things like, "Oh, we're winning. This is an easy war. I call it a 10." He said, "I call it a 15 out of 10 performance." You know, he's trying to get the people to think that they're winning so they could join the fight and say they did something with their life. And they help the country out, because nobody's going to want to join a war they're losing. Nobody's going to want to join the military if you're just being thrown into the meat grinder. So the morale of the people, he's trying to tap into that. And says we're winning. That's why don't show Israel, don't show the destruction that's out there. Tell them that we're winning, so then more people could join and say this is an easy fight. You know, because you know Babylon has raised a nation of cowards, that they're only, you know, they're bullies, so they fights that they could only win. But this is not one that they're gonna win. All right. But you know, this is a con man. This is a businessman, and he was set up to be put in his seat at this time for a reason. Right? This is Psalms 55 and verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. Right? He said a bunch of nice things. And you know what he said? He said that the Iran surrendered, which they didn't. They actually responded to that comment. You know, and this, you know what Trump said? Trump said, if they say they surrender and they say uncle, then we'll stop. Which we know they won't stop. But what kind of childish president tells their enemy to say uncle? Like we're in high school. Like this, yo, this place is done. Right? Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Right? Didn't they say they were gonna have a nuclear peace deal? Right, while approaching their country with battleships, and then less than a week later they bombed it? Like, come on, man. That's a snake move, man. Snakes do that. Snakes are all subtle of the field, right? They make themselves, you know, not seen or not appear dangerous, and then they strike. This is that old serpent. But yeah, man. I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who I learned from. Shalom to all for elect, preaching his word and truth, sincerity to you ribs, to you sisters out there learning in silence, and staying in order. I say to you all, Shalom.